on, son.
Raphael on the track.
Come on, son. Come on, son. Come on, son. What's up, y'all? This is Ed Lover with another podcast. Come on, son. The podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, brought to you, of course, by cigarsinternational.com. Go to cigarsinternational.com for all your cigar needs. Everything that you need in cigars, you can get from cigarsinternational.com. They are a title sponsor and locally brought to you by Nissan South of Morrow here in Atlanta, 6889 Jonesboro Road here in Atlanta. Joining me in the studio again, one of the editors of Botsop.com. My man Ja is in the building. How are you, sir?
Already.
Before we get into this podcast deep and just start talking, first and foremost, I want to give a shout out and send a lot of love out to my man Combat Jack.
Please. Man.
Yes, we have to do that because Jack is the reason why I'm podcasting in the first place.
Yeah, that was the very first podcast that I ever listened to.
Oh, wow.
I was actually on the last episode. I just came back from New York a couple weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I did the Combat Jack show. It was the first show since the announcement,
Mm-hmm.
and it was weird as hell.
For those of y'all who don't know, tell them what Jack is suffering from, what he's battling right now.
Combat Jack is currently battling colon cancer. I actually spoke to him yesterday afternoon.
Uh-huh.
He's in good spirits. His positive. He's ready to fight this thing, but it's going to be tough. He knows it's going to be tough.
Yeah. How did you discover Combat Jack's podcast?
I discovered the Combat Jack podcast just before Watch the Throne came out.
Okay.
There was a big listening party in New York, and apparently one of these blogger guys had gotten into this invite-only listening session for Watch the Throne. I think it was at the not the aquarium up there. Is there like a astronomy center or
Hayden Planetarium?
the planetarium? That's what it was. It
Yeah.
was the planetarium in New York. And this guy got in there, and our phones were supposed to be checked. Apparently, he snuck his phone in there and was recording songs from the album that was supposed to come out in, I don't know, 2-3 weeks or whatever the case
wow.
was. And I just saw all these people from New York media, bloggers, other people killing this guy on Twitter. I just wanted to know what happened. And I saw that there was a link for this thing called the Combat Jack Show where they were talking about it. I was like, let me just listen to this show to see what happened with this story.
Uh-huh.
And I started listening to it. I was like, oh, these guys talk like me and my homies would talk.
Right.
It's just crazy and telling jokes and just being stupid.
Right.
I was like, okay, this is cool. And I just started listening to it. And that was in, Watch the Throne was what, 2012?
Yeah, something
like that.
Yeah,
2012.
So that's a while. You've
It
been
was a
listening
while
to it for
ago,
at least
yeah.
5 years now.
Yeah, and they've been on for 7 years now. So
Wow.
I guess when I got onto it, it was still like the early stages. There was no theme song. There was no format.
Uh-huh.
They just cracked the mic and just started talking.
Right. And
And
whatever came out of it, it was.
Came out of it, yeah.
To me, that's the best way to ever do a podcast. And I had heard so many things about Combat Jack. Didn't realize that I knew him personally from his days of being a lawyer and working with Def Jam.
Entertainment lawyer.
Yeah, Columbia and
Mhm.
all of that stuff. And heard so much about it. Was never really a podcast listener at all. And about 2 years ago, Jack came down to Atlanta, and he wanted to do a live podcast. And I was like, and he invited me to be a part of it. I didn't know how podcasts worked. I didn't know or realize that the main focus of the podcast was me.
Yeah.
And he had a studio audience, and
I was in the crowd that
yeah,
night.
we sat down and we
Mhm.
talked for a long time, and he asked me a lot of great questions, and I told a lot of stories.
Great stories came out of that
And the
episode.
feedback that I got from that was, wow. And one of your Combat Jack podcasts was one of the best ones I've ever heard. And I was like,
Mhm.
there was a lot of people that said that, and I was like, wow, thank you. And I started talking to Jack, and he was like, man, you're so interesting. You got so many interesting stories that you should actually do your own podcast.
Yeah.
And he didn't say do it on the loudspeakers network.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say anything like that. He just said you need to do your own podcast.
Just
And I
believe
didn't-
in you, not no
Right.
business.
I didn't know-
just think
right.
you can do this.
You can do it.
Right.
And for somebody to invite you into the same arena that they're in
Yeah.
shows you a lot about their character.
Absolutely.
Because most of the time people will be doing something, they don't want you in that arena.
Yeah.
So Jack allow me to come into that arena. And I told him, I said, I'll do it, but I'm only going to do it if it's on your network.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you show me love, let me show you love, and reciprocate the love.
Right.
So I did, man, and it's been a while now. We've been over a year that we've been podcasting, and it's all because of Jack.
Yeah. Well, the funny part about that, to bring it all full circle, exactly what you just said about Combat is how I feel about you, because. For those that don't know, we do a segment on the Ed Lover Show called Breaking Gossip.
Yes.
And the whole Breaking Gossip was my first introduction into any terrestrial radio. I had done a couple of podcasts. Gossip, we had our own podcast for a while. And I had done Combat Show previously. I was on the Foxy Brown episode of the Combat Jack Show.
What was that all about?
That was amazing. That was crazy because she told all the stories. I mean,
Foxy did,
yeah. With beef with Lil Kim, her relationship with Nas, her relationship with Jay-Z, some about the stuff about Sprague, her going deaf, just everything she's been going through since Foxy Brown
since
was
the beginning of since Inga Mashad became
since Inga Mashad became Foxy Brown. She
funny
told the
thing
dog.
about it, we have this relationship, man, where her brothers and I are cool.
A lot of people say that.
She don't like me.
I've heard people say that, though. Like, I'm cool with Foxy Brothers,
because I've
but
been very critical of her. And I told her this personally, you have a golden opportunity as an artist, to me, to become something that could have been stratospheric in your career. And you threw it all away being nasty to people.
Bad
you know what I
attitude.
mean? And a lot of it is very true. You created a lot of riffs where riffs didn't need to be created. And you get to a point in this business where people just get fucking tired of dealing with you if you're going to be an asshole or bitch about shit. And that's pretty much what happened, a lot of that is what happened with Foxy. And it's just, I guess, people being critical of her at a time when she was, quote, unquote, I am Foxy Brown, and you not. And, I take it to the airways. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
And we just don't have a good relationship. Like, she just won't. Sometimes she'll walk right past me and don't speak.
Well, that's the thing with artists. I feel like, and some artists get it and some don't. And, I guess there's various reasons for that. But, I mean, I hear the same thing about Jeremiah. Like, not that he's necessarily nasty, but just unprofessional. Just not showing up on time.
Right.
All out, just not showing up at all for various things. Interviews, video shoots. Like, when he had that episode, I guess it was, I don't remember if it was earlier this year or late last year, when he sent a fake Jeremiah on stage to perform. He was on tour with a Party Next Door, and he was unhappy, I guess, with the opening. He was opening up for Party, and I guess they were in Chicago. He felt like, Chicago was his home. He felt like he was supposed to open up. He was unhappy with things, so we sent out, like, his homeboy or something in, like, a hoodie and a hat to perform lip sync his songs while the DJ played the records.
Oh, wow.
And when this story came out and I was talking to people about it, that's what they would say about him. Is like, yo, dude has all the talent in the world, but just as a professional artist, just not handling your business correctly.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the downfall of a lot of people.
Oh, man, absolutely, man. Absolutely. A lot of people can get to a certain point in their lives, man, and things change.
Yeah.
A lot of things change. There was one time when I was in New York and I was on the radio, and I had made a statement. There was a young man that had been a part of Murder, Inc. He was a new signee to Murder, Inc., and he got shot and killed in a park not too far from where I grew up in Queens, on 197th and Murdoch Avenue. Actually, the park is called O'Connell Park, and Mark Jackson grew up right across the street from the park.
Okay.
And, man, when I tell you we used to go down there and play ball, and Mark Jackson used to bust our ass even as a shorty, it was so crazy.
Shout out to Mark
Yeah,
Jackson.
shout out to Mark the Spark Jackson, man. Former New York Knicks, former head coach. Actually, the man that put them Golden State Warriors team together before they made him hand it over to Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
So big shout out to
give him
Mark the
credit.
Spark, brother of Escalade that y'all watched in the And One for so many years. That's Mark's little brother who grew up to be bigger than Mark.
Wait, is it?
Yeah, Escalade was Mark Jackson's little brother.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he grew up to be bigger than Mark.
I need to see their daddy or
Yeah,
something.
taller
How
than
the
Mark.
hell did Mark? Because Mark Jackson's what? Maybe 6'1", 6'2",
maybe 6'2",
6'2", something like that. Escalade is what, like 6'7", 6'8",
Yeah, but
350
their mom is tall and
pounds?
their dad was tall, so yeah.
Wow.
And they both got that ball. So the kid gets killed across the street. He's a brand new signee to Murder Inc., right? And I'm on the radio, Ja, and I'm like, you know what? Sometimes people have to be careful with what they call their companies.
Right.
And I said, I'm not single-handedly, I'm not just pointing out Murder Inc., but this just brought this to mind that when you call your companies Death Row and murder and this and that and the things, these kind of things come around because
they mean something.
Right, they mean something because the people that are not bright as you are don't understand it's just a moniker for a label.
Right.
And that you really don't mean it when John Irvin is like, it's murder.
Especially not attached to rappers.
Exactly. So I had said that on the radio. The next day, Irv and Ja is on with my competitor at the time was Star and Buck Wild.
Okay.
They on with Star and Buck Wild, and Star likes to stir up stuff. Heard that Lover was talking about y'all the other day, and Irv and Ja goes on. I'm soft, I'm a punk, I'm this, I'm that. And I specifically said that I wasn't pointing out Murder Inc.
Right.
And they just went in. And I got wind of it, and somebody had got a hold of it and let me hear it. So I was burnt because I know Irv and I and Ja and all from the same neighborhood.
Right.
Irv is a shorty to me.
Mm-hmm.
He's made something out of himself. I'm very proud of everything that he did. But growing up in that neighborhood, he was DJ Irv with his MC was Romeo.
Mm-hmm.
Irv was no tough guy in our neighborhood.
Right.
Not at all. I'm not saying that I was, but he was definitely not.
He wasn't the gangster of gangsters.
No, he wasn't a gangster, period.
Okay.
This Gotti moniker came when he got into the music business.
Right.
But him and his brother Chris, nice enough guys, two-parent home, just like a lot of the rest of us. But none of us was gangster. We knew street dudes. We knew who the motherfuckers in our neighborhood was. And it wasn't him.
Right.
All right? And it wasn't me, but it definitely wasn't him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a shorty to me, a couple of years younger than me. So when I got a moniker that, I'm like, yo, I'm coming up to Def Jam, and I'm going to see Irv about this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I knew Ja when Ja used to sell drugs on Springfield Boulevard and was getting sunned by a couple of dudes that I know.
Right.
So now all of a sudden y'all got a successful rap label. You talk, you tough talking. So
Chest
I
is
call up
puffy.
there at the time. My sister, Sonia, my only sister, is the receptionist at Def Jam.
Okay.
So I call my sister. I said, yo, you tell Irv I'm coming the fuck up there. All right? We're going to see what his mouth is like when I'm in front of his face.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister said, don't come up here. It's a Supreme is up here every day.
Wow.
I said, Supreme, Southside Supreme?
The Supreme?
The Supreme Team Supreme?
Right.
She said, yeah, don't come up here. But later on, Irv and I, we talked it out and we figured out it was a misunderstanding. They misconstrued what someone had told them.
Right.
That I said.
That third-party information will always.
Right. And what I meant by what I said wasn't to throw dirt or shade towards Murder Inc.
Right.
But I was very happy for them. They from my neighborhood.
Right.
Everybody that comes up by my neighborhood, I'm happy for that. It's not like
when Queens wins.
Right, when Queens wins, we all win.
Right.
That's how I felt about it, So later on, we squashed in, and Irv and I are really, really, really cool to this day. Like right now, me, Ja's giving me one of the best interviews I've ever had.
Yeah.
Was sit down and talking to Ja.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I got a lot of respect for the way Combat Jack handles his business and the platform that he's allowed me and allowed you to be on.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I don't.
And I wish him all the best.
No, 100%, man. Like being in this media game, you never know, where you're gonna end up. You might start writing, you might end up on TV. You might start writing, you might end up in advertising. You never know what your path is gonna be.
Yeah.
But yeah, between Combat giving me the opportunity to be on his show a couple of times. Oh, and what I started to say earlier was that it was just weird being in that studio and he's not there.
I bet.
Like, shout out to A. King for, like, really putting the thing together and holding it down. I know his partners, Jonathan Mena, Chris Morrow, everybody at Loudspeakers, like, they're going to keep the show going. And ain't nothing going to stop. But at the same time, it was very, very weird.
It is the Combat Jack show.
It is the Combat Jack show. And I respect that. And it's,
And you got to think of what else he's given us, like, besides that's on that Loudspeaker network. You know what I mean?
To me, all of the biggest and best podcasts in the urban space are on Loudspeakers Network.
Right.
The Ed Lover Show, Come On Son, Angela Yee, Lip Service, Charlamagne the God, Brilliant Idiots,
Right.
The Read, Crystals and Kid Fury.
Right.
I'm probably leaving some folks out, but they have a lot. Angela Rye, On
Right.
One is on. Like, they have those names. I mean, this is like, people talk about we don't have, MTV anymore. We don't have BET anymore. We don't have these personalities that are in, a mainstream space. We see black folks talking about our own culture and things that are pertaining to us. And I feel like Loudspeakers Network has kind of cultivated that kind of environment for podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
And, I feel like right now that's kind of where those important black voices are, and voices of color are doing their own podcast.
Our voices, not only the podcasters, but our voices of Black America need to be heard.
Yeah.
Within in and outside of the entertainment part of it, our voices definitely, we need to be heard, because there's such a great divide between my dad's generation, which was the Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all of these
Al Sharpton,
well-to-do black people. There was a big divide between their generation and our generation. And now we seem to have a divide between our generation and your generation.
Yeah.
And I don't like that divide.
Nah.
I don't like it. And somebody was telling me one time that the division, like when we were talking about just men in general, and they were saying the division comes from the crack era. Like, a lot of fathers weren't there for their kids.
Right.
Because of the crack era.
Incarcerated or
incarcerated,
or
died or whatever, whatever have you, not around anymore because of the crack era. But there was no OGs there to teach them the rules, and different things. But I think one of the major problems is the OGs don't embrace the generation behind them. Like, you gotta, a kid ain't gonna know you love him till you hug him.
Right. Gotta show him.
And we not hugging, we too busy complaining.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
You're
real.
complaining about everything. Like, any rapper I ever hear complain about mumble rap is only complaining because times have changed and it ain't your time anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you can't hold on to the crown, but for so long.
Yeah, that is it. Everything is in passing. Like, nothing is built to just be like, this is what it's gonna be forever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
Right.
Like, people, it's eras, it's times, it's things change. Like, just let it go.
But there should be a certain amount of respect.
For sure.
Right
you
now,
have to respect.
when Lonzo Ball said the things that he said about Nas.
Nobody listens to Nas anymore. We all listen to Future.
Right.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
But it was said with such disrespect.
Yeah, there was a certain disdain.
Like, Nas old, that's old, like, that's old bullshit.
Yeah, that's what it is. Not just it's old, but it's old bullshit.
Right.
Like, that's
not that it's old, because things gonna become old. There's gonna be a time, and it's really happening for a lot of artists right now. We can really go through a lot of them if you like, where they're on the cusp right now where you were looking at them like, oh shit, I can't believe dude is now, or female is considered old school. Yeah. I never thought that we would still be talking about Trina.
Right.
Trina's old school.
Old school, yeah. And right now in 2017.
2017, getting ready to go into 2018.
Mm-hmm. Jay-Z will be here tomorrow night.
Right.
In Atlanta.
Tomorrow night.
To Playboy Cardi and to these dudes, he's super old school.
Right. So when you hear dudes
Kanye's an old head now, damn
absolutely.
near.
When you hear dudes go, I will never buy. And speaking of Kanye, we'll get to Kanye in a minute. Something shocked the shit out of me today. And I'll share it in a minute.
Oh, man.
Speaking of Jay-Z, when you hear dudes say, I ain't buying the Jay-Z album, I forgot who said it. I think I
do remember somebody was talking about, I don't need any more new Jay-Z albums or something like that.
Say he old. And people was like, how can you say that Jay is the God? And
right.
Yeah, he is.
Mm-hmm.
But to somebody that's 19.
When you're 52 or what is he, 50, 51,
Jay-Z
49?
came out 40-something, late 40s.
Late 40s.
Jay came out in 1996. Biggie came out in 94. Kim came out in 96.
These kids weren't born until 99.
My son.
Right. That doesn't mean nothing to them.
My son's born in 97. He's going to be 21 in January. He didn't grow up on it, so you can't expect it. You can't shove the shit down their throat.
Right.
And expect them to feel about it the way you feel about it.
Right. When you were of a certain level of maturity to understand what it was, and you had your own preferences in that time.
But we fought our parents for our preferences.
Absolutely.
So why are you fighting them for their preferences?
I never want to be that dude.
Me either. And you also got to
Like,
understand that everything ain't for you.
Right.
Even for a 22-year-old right now, he don't like everything.
No.
There's certain shit he might like. He might be like, you know what, bring back up Jeremiah. Jeremiah whacked the fuck out of it.
Right.
Right? He might not like Jeremiah, but Jeremiah may not be for him just because Jeremiah is selling. I knew Iggy Azalea wasn't my cup of tea.
Right.
I was like, that's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I predicted a long time ago.
Yeah, she had.
But we had Eminem, and
Right.
Eminem came in and he could really rap.
But
I predicted a long time ago. I said one of these record companies going to get a white boy,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to get a bunch of black ghostwriters,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to write all his songs because he looked good and he got the swagger and he could deliver it. He's going to go down as the greatest rapper in the history of hip hop. And they're going to push him down our fucking throat until we can't take it anymore because they culture vulture motherfuckers and they like to steal our culture.
Right.
And take it. But they don't want to deal with us, but they want everything else that goes along with our culture.
Right.
You know, so I predicted that a long time ago, and then here comes Iggy Azalea, and I'm like, this bitch ain't writing shit.
No. It's funny you brought her name up because I actually was going on her.
I shouldn't have called her a bitch. I'm sorry, Iggy, if you hear this.
you
I don't know you personally to know whether or not you're a bitch.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I was on her Instagram page the other day, and I'm looking at what she is now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's not around. I'm not saying she's not around any black people. I'm not talking about her everyday life. I'm just talking about as far as her music goes and like where she's on tour and kind of what she's doing now. Like she's all the way out of rap music as we know it now.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
She's doing records with these big international acts, people I never even heard of before, but I checked their Instagram page and they got 29 million followers.
Right.
So I know somewhere in Puerto Rico or somewhere in Germany
She
or
rocking with Romeo Santos and all of them.
killing over
the
there.
king of bachata.
All of
Shout
these
out
people,
Romeo Santos.
like she's out there doing that on that international, and probably that's where she probably should have been to begin with.
Right.
Because as a pop star,
Pitbull style.
yeah.
Kinda.
Because as
Flow
that
Rider style.
Flow Rider style. Because at that, then it would have been like, okay. I feel like that would have been a cue to hip hop audiences, like, okay, we don't have to take her seriously.
Right.
Like, she is a pop star, and she's not even trying to do this rap thing. But when you surround yourself with T.I. and these other people are co-signing you who we actually take seriously from our, it's kind of like, of course you're gonna get scorched. Like, of course we're gonna drag you and up and
T.I.
down the streets.
borderline old school too.
Oh yeah, for sure. T.I.'s old school. I mean, like,
Wow.
trap music came out in 2007, 2006.
That's well over 10 years.
And that was the album that kind of brought him back after the first go round didn't go
I'm
so
serious.
well. I'm serious didn't go
was the
so
first
well.
album, yeah.
So trap music brought him back, and it was, you know, what was Bring 'Em Out came out a couple of years after that, maybe.
Mhm. You know you're old school when you hear him talking about how he invented trap music.
Well, see, I had this debate with my coworker Alex. I feel like there is something to be said about him. Yes, giving him credit for that because
Coining the phrase trap music.
that
maybe.
means something, though, right?
I do. I think so too, but it's not the same kind of trap music as
No,
trap
the music that was on Trap Music, the album, is very different than what we consider trap
Gucci
music
Mane
now. Gucci Mane
is trap.
and the first Young Jeezy album,
Right.
and you know early Future stuff.
Right.
That is more of the sound of trap music. Of trap music.
Right.
But coining the phrase has to have some level of merit to it because
Absolutely. I
people
coined the
talked
phrase,
about
come on, son. It ain't like people wasn't saying come
on, son, before that,
me.
right? And even with trap music, I never heard anyone. I heard rappers talk about the trap. Outkast had rapped about the trap.
Right.
8Ball MJG had rapped about the trap. But I had never heard anyone say the phrase trap music.
Right. This is music for the trap.
That's based out of the trap, not just like you
Right.
know gangster rap
Right.
or dope
Gangster
dealing music.
Gangster rap is a phrase white people coin.
Yeah, that's what's
to
for
try
white
to
people.
put this shit in a box. Oh, that's
yeah,
gangster rap.
Yeah, that's that C.
You ain't
Dolores.
never heard a goddamn gangster, a real mafia member rapping.
Rapping, right? Yeah.
So
yeah,
which gangsters was rapping?
Yeah, that was
like,
that Tipper Gore, C. Dolores Tucker.
Exactly.
That's that talk for
Exactly.
them to put it in the
Exactly.
media and frame it a certain kind of way.
Exactly.
But now, when you say trap music, everyone knows exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
So I feel like I have to give T.I. at least
credit for coining the phrase, for bringing it to
bring
light.
it to light,
For bringing it to
showing
light.
people that this is a thing now.
Right,
We're
that
do
this
it
is the
this
thing.
way.
For
Right.
making, well, then if we're going to say that, then he did invent it.
I mean, and that's why I give him credit for it, because
Right,
I'm saying,
then he
like,
did invent it.
who was saying that before that? Now, the
Nobody
music is
before
different.
T.I.
I'll give credit
the
to
style is different.
The style is different.
Trap
yeah.
music has evolved.
Supremely, and I
From
give
when
credit
he created
to
it,
the
but-
younger guys for that. They
Yeah.
took that name and the Metro Boomins and the Sunny Digitals and the South Sides and the 808 Mafias
And they made it gritty.
gritty.
It's
Shawty Red,
Right.
yeah,
right.
yeah.
T.I.'s was more polished.
For sure. I mean, there was soul samples on that album.
Right.
Kanye West did records on trap music.
Yeah.
Like, it was
Yeah.
DJ Toomp did records
Yeah,
on
that's
trap music.
not that
Jazzy Faye
gritty.
did records on
Yeah,
trap
that's not
music.
that gritty,
It wasn't
dirty
like
shit.
dirty, filthy, like grime. It was just like, okay.
Yeah. Zaytoven type.
Yeah.
Gucci Man.
Gucci Man,
No,
yeah.
I interviewed Zay here on Come On Son, the podcast, and Zay was like, yo, when I did a record with Gucci, we do records, we don't even mix them.
Really?
Yeah, we just put them out.
I love that.
And that's that grimy,
That's
nasty feel.
Like however we thought about it that day, that's how it is.
You
That's-
say Gucci come
that's
in
what it
and be
is.
like, yeah, all right, I'm finished that one.
Yeah.
And put it on the mixtape and shit going out.
Wow.
And people just gravitated towards towards his music and the style of music that they were putting out. You know, and funny about Zay, he still go to church and play organ every Sunday in church. He's an amazingly talented young man, Zaytoven is, man.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
remember listening to a old interview of his, and he was saying, like, you know, he came up in the church. His whole style of
He
music, he was
still
knowing music is
It's in church every Sunday.
That's dope.
Every Sunday.
That is dope. And making Gucci Mane records, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And we were just talking about Kanye West, and I was going to tell you something that blew my mind.
What's that?
I was listening to Ain't No Nigga on my way into work this morning.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? When I get my laptop open, I'm going to see if Jay-Z wrote that whole record, even Foxy's.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And he did.
He did,
Because
yeah.
it sounds like Jay-Z.
And she talked about that on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you listen to it, right?
Mhm.
Jay wrote the whole shit. So it just got me opening up, looking at other ghostwriters. Because remember the whole thing. What's a kid's name? Quentin
Miller?
Miller,
Yeah.
that, Funk Master Flex, my homie, dropped him his reference vocals for Drake on 100 Bands, I think it is, or 10 Bands.
On 10 Bands.
10 Bands.
Energy, and also the Rico record that
Right.
Drake and Meek Mill did together.
Right.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
got me thinking, like, so from the Jay-Z thing and seeing that Jay-Z wrote most of 5 records on Ill 99, including Take You Home and I'll Be.
yeah. Yep.
And yeah, all the great shit.
The great the
right?
hits.
And the other ones that was written by Nas. So, Nas and Jay both contributed heavily to that album. So it started making me look at other ghostwriters and who wrote what. Did not know Rhymefest wrote the entire first verse for Jesus Walks.
Yep. That was
And saw him on the internet
spitting it.
years before Jesus Walks ever came out.
From what I was told, that was actually his whole song.
Really?
I was told that was actually Rhymefest's record. That's why he was spitting it like that years before it came out, because that was supposed to be his song that just didn't come out for whatever reason. He hadn't released it or whatever. And then in the meantime, between time, he had linked up with Ye, and Ye just took it to a whole place.
It's the same cadence.
Everything.
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 The
Like,
breathing, everything. But here's my thing. And we were just talking about Kanye, and Kanye's on the corner of old school
Yeah.
and OG.
He's the I feel like he is like, if Jay-Z is like the great grandfather to these kids, Kanye is like their uncle or like older dad.
uncle.
Like maybe he's like 75 and he still has like a 19-year-old kid. Like
Right.
it's that kind of thing where it's like, you're an old dad, but these kids are still like,
We still love you.
we still love you, and you're still very much direct influence on
Right.
what a lot of the kids are doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. because they go crazy every time he drop a sneaker or whatever, whatever.
Yeah. He touches that button for those young kids. Even though he's almost, is he 40 now?
You got to be damn near. I don't know how old Kanye is, but musically he's right there on that edge of where they're going to, another 5 years. He put a record
by the time Trump is out of office, by the time the 2020 election comes around, they're gonna be looking at Kanye like, all right, bro.
Yeah, like you're old dude. Yeah. But it just kind of dawned on me because Kanye can be so arrogant sometimes. And we've heard stories from Consequence about shit that he wrote. We've heard stories from a lot of other artists about shit that they wrote. But then you stand up there and call yourself a genius. You can't be a genius with other people writing your shit. You cannot.
You can't be a genius lyricist.
No, you can't. You can be a genius in other areas.
You can be a genius at making music.
Oh, Kanye is a genius at making music.
Right. You can't be a genius MC.
No.
But
he thinks he's a genius MC.
Does he?
Yes.
See, I've heard Kanye be arrogant about
he's one of the best MCs that ever lived. You cannot.
Okay.
Possibly, I don't give a fuck. And he can tell me I ain't got all the answers like he told Sway. But I've been here a long time before you ever showed up on the scene, Mr. West. And all respect for you as some of the greatest hip-hop production I've ever heard has come from the mind of Kanye West. But don't give me that lyricism shit when Rhyme Fest and Consequence and other dope motherfuckers is writing rhymes for you.
Have contributed greatly.
You can't be the best in hip-hop with other people writing your rhymes for you.
No.
You cannot go down as the greatest. You can't go down as the GOAT.
Right.
If you found out right now that there was some dude and he stepped forward, right? And he had tapes and everything and he could prove that he wrote I Get Around, Hail Mary, all of this shit for Tupac, would you feel different about Tupac?
Man. And I'm not even like the hugest Tupac fan
Me
in the
either,
world.
not lyrically.
Not lyrically, yeah, but that would hurt a lot of people.
You found out a motherfucker wrote two of America's Most Wanted and wrote all of Tupac's rhymes.
That would hurt. If I found out that somebody wrote The Evils for Jay-Z.
Hello.
If I found out somebody wrote The Evils for Jay-Z. If I found out somebody wrote I Gave You Power for Nas.
Right.
I would be sick.
Right. If you found out that there was some dude out there that damn near wrote all of Illmatic. If you found out Raekwon did not write his lyrics for the Purple Tape or on Cream. If you found out that there was some dude running around there that's part of the Dungeon family that nobody talks about that wrote 3,000 shit.
It would be
ugly. If you found out somebody wrote 3,000 on shit or 3,000 part on CC, the girl that
International Players Anthem?
Yes.
Sick. I'd be sick to my stomach. I'd be like,
So how do we allow somebody like Kanye West talking about they're one of the best that's ever done it with a team of motherfucking writers? You'll hear Diddy making that claim. Did he know he don't write shit?
Well, this is what I say with Kanye. What I was going to say about Kanye
He writes some, but he don't write. Come on.
Right, yeah.
When I heard that fucking Ron Fest verse and I saw him on the internet spitting that shit, it's the same thing. Yeah. It's not like Ron Fest gave you a structure and you filled it in. Yeah. No, he wrote gotta get it. Kind of hard. That's the whole shit. Yeah. Well, you eat pieces of shit like me for breakfast?
Yeah.
I thought it was genius when I heard it. I thought, like, Kanye's
he's crazy. Yeah, no.
Nah.
Well, the thing with Ye is that I've heard him be arrogant about a lot of stuff. I'm sure he said it because, it's Kanye, right? What hasn't he said?
Right.
But in my mind, I can't recall him ever being like, I am the best, I am a god rapper. But I feel like, as far as production of music, not just like making beats, but just like structuring songs, music production, all the way around the board. But
here's my butt with Kanye.
Okay,
you got to step out of the rap zone. In order to go down historically as a producer, you have to do shit outside of rap.
Yeah,
every amazing producer has done shit outside of rap.
For sure.
From Dr. Dre to doing Miss Chalet's album, world-class record crew, besides all his own shit,
right.
He stepped out and said, I could do this R&B shit too.
Well, the one guy I give a lot of credit for that, and it blew my mind when I found this out because I didn't know until way after the fact that, you know, Timbaland, like you said, Dre has done production for Nelly Furtado and other people, or for, not Nelly Furtado, Gwen Stefani and Eve, and he's done these pop records.
Right.
And Timbaland has done, obviously, a lot of pop records.
Justin Timberlake, the name of
Timberlake, all that.
Furtado.
Yeah, Nelly Furtado, all of them. But when I found out that DJ Premier did the Christina Aguilera album that had, what was the name of that record? Hold on, I'm about to tell you right now. Because when I found out, he did like damn near the whole album. DJ Premier.
Primo's a fucking beast.
Primo's a beast. And I was like, wow, Back to Basics, I think was it. Oh, Ain't No Other Man. That was the name of the song. That was a big hit record. And when I found out that was a DJ Premier production, I was like, are you serious? And then I found out he did like executive produced the album and did like 6, 7, 8 other records on there. I was like, Primo did these?
Right.
Gangstar Primo did these?
The king of dirty New York.
I had to give it up to him. I was like, I'm not going to say, I don't know if I'm ready to say that Primo is the greatest of all time because there's a lot of debate there, but
there's a lot of debate there. I can debate that too. I can debate that with you all day long.
Range. Like that's a lot of range.
That's range.
To go from
that's Quincy Jones range.
Yeah.
That's Quincy
Jones
historical doing Michael
range.
Jackson and Frank Sinatra.
Yeah. Like
that's
did
Teddy Riley doing the show and Johnny Kemp and Keith Sweat.
And
Blackstreet
and
all Guy and Today. And Christopher Williams, and Heavy D.
That's a stat. That's a stat.
That's a stat.
That's like, wow.
That's a stat. And then once you give the number one artist in the world, Michael Jackson, the number one pop album, hard to fuck with.
I think that Christina Aguilera album sold
and didn't remember the time.
Teddy
Riley. Crazy.
I think that album sold like 6 to 8 million copies, something crazy. Like she
Yeah, I just would love to see Kanye. Well, Kanye dabbled in R&B a little bit.
I mean, he did that first Keisha Cole record.
He did Keisha Cole.
Right.
He did Brandy.
Yeah.
And he did Kerry Hilson. He dabbled a little bit, but I would love to hear Kanye get behind the boards of some rock shit. You know, some pop, real pop, Barbra Streisand. See, that's another thing that we can't take away from R. Kelly as a writer.
Right.
He did fucking Celine. He gave Celine Dion the number one record.
Celine Dion.
I Believe I Can Fly is a fucking record that no matter what, you put that shit on. That's something you can't take away from Jay-Z as a writer. He wrote the Bugs Bunny rap in the fucking Space Jam.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's when your pen game is serious.
It's fine. I mean,
and I want to hear Kanye come up out of. I would love to hear Kanye do more R&B. Number one, because I think he's so talented as a fucking producer, and I would love to hear him delve into other genres, maybe gospel, maybe country. I would love to hear what Kanye West can do as a producer in every genre of music. Yeah. And then once you score big in all of those genres, then you have the right to say, I'm probably one of the best producers ever.
So where would he fall as far as greatest producers of
hip-hop?
Hip-hop. Like, is he top 5? Because there's a lot of
10 for sure.
Top 10 for sure. It's hard to crack that top 5.
You gotta go Teddy Riley.
Yeah.
You gotta go Marley.
Yeah.
You gotta go Premier. Right. You gotta go. Shit.
Does Dre make it up there in that top 5?
Dre, absolutely. Okay. You gotta go Dr. Dre.
Has Timbaland done enough hip hop?
Timbaland has done enough hip hop.
Okay, so that's
5.
That's 5 right there.
Timbaland has done enough hip hop. Yeah. Easy Mo B. You know, you come on, dog.
The Organized Noise. Yeah.
Gotta put them up there.
Yeah.
You gotta put these are people that.
Will Swiss make it? That's the controversial one. Will Swiss make it? Because I have this
Kanye is definitely top 10.
I would put Kanye over. This is my thing with Swiss. And I love Swiss, but I feel like
shit, we gotta talk Jermaine Dupri.
Jermaine Dupri too. Well, I saw that going on online the other day too, and people don't want to give Jermaine Dupri a top 10 spot.
Why people don't want to give Jermaine Dupri a spot?
I think they feel like it was too short-lived, and he didn't put out enough artists who people are still really heavily rocking with over a long period of time.
Yeah.
Like the Brat was like a 2-album thing. Chris
That's
Cross
'cause
like
Brat
a
went to
2-album
jail.
thing. Well, yeah. I mean, that's her fault. That's a whole nother situation.
Right.
But he hasn't put out historically a gang of artists. The artists that were signed to So
Hold
Def,
the
like
fuck
ROC.
up. That ain't got nothing to do with ROC. Okay, for So Def, what does that got to do with what the work he's done with the emancipation of Mimi and Mariah Carey?
Well, I'm talking about rappers.
Oh,
I mean, that's different.
okay.
As a
Well, that's
producer,
a-
as
that's
a producer,
what I
you
thought we
can't
were
deny
fucking
Jermaine
talking
Dupri.
about.
Yeah. As a producer, you can't deny Jermaine Dupri anything. Like he's a
We're
GOAT.
just talking about as a rap label.
I just mean as far as just rap
Yeah,
producers
he
and
hadn't
hip hop.
done enough. He
I don't
hadn't
think
done
he's done enough to be
He
a
hadn't done
top 10. But my thing with Swiss is that I don't feel like all
Motherfucker
Swiss
did do Money Ain't a Thing with him and Jay-Z.
That was fire.
Damn,
that's
that
fire.
was
That's one of them joints still. They still come on
He
the horns.
did give you last night, I think
Oh,
of you. That's
yeah,
Jermaine Dupri,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
Come on now.
And from that, we got that the Cardi B line that everybody loves about. Well, I guess I feel like that was like a derivative of that whole that put your hand up on my hip.
Yeah.
Bet you dip, he dip,
The
she
dip, the dip.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, man. The fuck
But,
on out of here.
No, what I was saying about Swiss was that I don't think all the Swiss records age too great.
Really?
Swiss is like I'll give you a prime example. This is an argument. I shout out to my man Alex. We have this
She
argument
ain't
all
got
the
no
time.
money in the bank.
See, those are cool, but like records like Money Cash Hoes,
That record hard.
I hate that song now.
Really?
That song did not age well at all. Ring, he's just swiping his hand up and down the keyboard.
Bro, I
I'm just
disagree
like,
with that shit. That shit ring out.
there's a reason. There's a
DMX and my thoughts, mate.
crazy X verse.
My nigga, bro. Oh,
But
mate.
is that a beat that you really? Is that you really-
What? Yeah, that
I
shit
don't
gets you
know,
hot.
man.
I don't know. Maybe it's a
There-
cultural thing, bro.
There's a
maybe
reason-
it's a city thing.
Maybe
Rock
so.
Money Cash Hoes remix anywhere in New York. That motherfucker's ringing off.
Of course. Well, I mean, I think Money Cash Hoes had elements of it that made it bigger than the actual production. Like that Beanie Siegel verse on the remix, fire. DMX verse on the OG, fire. Even whole verses.
Was that the remix of the verse? Was that when one of the best lines I think Myth Bleak ever said? In 1999, I packed 3 nines like the year. Oh, Bleak got it. Bleak got that one.
Yeah, Bleak had a couple of them.
I packed 3 nines like the year. I was like, wow.
Yeah, but there's a reason Hov doesn't perform that song, and it ain't because it's called Money Cash Hoes. Because I feel like if you perform that song in front of
I seen
25,000
him doing it in
people,
Madison Square Garden.
maybe at the
X
Garden, maybe
came
at the
out.
Barclays,
Woo!
if you got X out there. But I feel like that song nowadays would dead
he
the
performed
energy
H to the
of
Izzo and that.
yeah. But people like it. That was a pop
I
hit.
hate that.
That was a pop hit.
Oh,
that
Jay,
people-
no, I don't like that fucking right. Ain't in love with you. I hate that just as much as I hate you. You ready, beat? Let's
Oh,
go.
yeah, I hate- yeah.
Look for me.
Yeah.
I hate that. It's so temp that pop.
Yeah,
If you knew where he was going with that, I'm like, oh man.
That was like there aren't a lot of things.
And
like-
because Tupac had already did Me and My Girlfriend. So that's
yeah, I mean that's the thing. Yeah, it was over.
Same
for that
chorus
point.
as
Yeah,
Me
it
and
was-
My Girlfriend. I'm like, wow, we biting now?
I like Jay-Z is probably my number one favorite rapper of all time. And the list of corny things that he's done for me personally might be a short list, but doing that My Girlfriend record is probably like a top 3 corny Jay-Z thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
For me too.
Like
He
that
knows
just-
it's
it
not
was-
personal. And Jay
No, it's not personal,
Jay
but it's
gonna
just
take
like-
it personal, but he's smart enough to know what audience he was going
I mean,
for.
listen, it worked.
It worked
big
like a
time.
fucking charm.
It worked big time.
This is a song that if I was A&R the project, I would have said leave this shit off the album. and I would have been the dumbest motherfucker ever.
You'd have been like, yo, how come we only sold 150 this week? Because
Yeah.
you left that goddamn record.
Yup. I was the
With-
stupidest
with-
motherfucker in the world.
Yeah, I hate that song, but yeah, that
Oh,
shit
then the
worked.
H
That
to the
shit worked.
is a, V to the is a.
I didn't really like Blueprint 2 as a whole. Blueprint 2 could have been great if it was like 10 songs.
God damn, I gotta look it up and see what's on Blueprint 2. But everybody has some hit and miss joints.
Yeah, that's just gonna happen. That's just what it's
Everybody
gonna
had
be.
that hit.
You know.
Y'all like 808 and Heartbreaks.
Oh yeah, 808s and Heartbreaks.
Y'all
is a
like
great
my
album.
Dark Twisted Fantasy.
You don't like Dark Twisted Fantasy?
No, not really.
Oh
It
wow.
didn't resonate with me. Maybe I was in a different place at that time. I don't like that the Yeezy album. Oh,
Yeezus?
terrible.
See, I'm not totally mad at the Yeezus
I don't
album.
know what
but
he was trying to get. And I don't like when Kanye West make me feel like I'm stupid because I don't like his music. Or you don't get it. No, motherfucker, that shit was trash. I get it. It's
He
bullshit.
said, I don't fuck with it. I get it.
I
don't
get
fuck
it. The
with
shit trash to me.
You know what? I was in a place where at that time when Yeezus came out, I was listening to a lot of I was listening to like the Black Keys
Right.
and like a bunch of other shit. So sonically, there was records on there that I could understand where he was coming from. They weren't rap records at all. And it was real cold and industrial and European sounding, and it was real like metal pipes banging against each other, all that type of shit.
That shit. Give me some
But at the
hip-hop.
same time, that album, I feel like, that album is like a Travis Scott album, right? I feel like Travis Scott like took over Ye's body and gave him that, and then Travis Scott turned into a
Travis
huge
Scott
thing.
wrote on that album.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
over
I feel like he could have been executive producer of that album,
Yeah.
because I feel like a lot of that shit is all Travis.
Right, but you're not, as a rap artist, you're not supposed to be that heavily influenced by somebody else.
I
that
mean,
you take their entire style
and you mold it in around
cool.
your.
They can influence you to try something different, but you still supposed to be who you are. It's gotta come from you. It's got something inside of you have to propel you
To that
do
point.
it. Not what you gonna keep now. You're gonna be the new fucking. You know what I mean? You're gonna be Meek Mill now.
I mean,
Because Meek around you, you hang out with Meek a little bit, and you see Meek, oh, let me do this. This shit is kind of suspect to me, too, because you're doing somebody's style before the world gets a chance to know who they are.
right. Well, that's what I'm gonna say. Travis, from that Yeezus album, I'm not saying he was nobody before that, but he was like a cult thing, an underground thing.
Right.
That people fucking with Travis Scott.
If somebody introduced you, look, you need to check him out.
Yeah, and he checked them out, and then Travis became his own thing. And I think right now, in this moment, you could argue that Travis is probably more culturally relevant than Kanye West.
He's more Kanye than Kanye, huh?
Yeah, right now in this moment.
Right now in this
not as an
moment.
overall career, 'cause I know somebody listened to that. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? Travis
fucking
Scott?
ain't no
Fuck
talking
is this
about
nigga
Travis
from
Scott
Boston
ain't
talking
did
about
shit.
Travis Scott? Fuck Travis Scott. But what I'm saying is that a lot of the biggest artists right now have records featuring Travis Scott.
Right.
And they are big records that are performed at their shows. And it's like, when you see a Travis Scott
That
show,
means that's culturally
that's relevancy. That's
relevancy.
That's
like
right
a
now in
motherfucker.
this
Like,
moment.
Right now in this moment. We
Yeah,
don't know
Migos, Drake,
Right.
SZA,
Yeah.
like Kendrick.
That's
like,
what I'm telling
like,
you. And
like-
that's the change that I was talking about.
Right.
And that's the change that has to be embraced. You can't hold on to Mobb Deep where have shook ones for the rest of your life.
just love it for that time. And if
Right.
you love nostalgia, then when you hear those records, be nostalgic for that time. But I don't understand that I'm looking for that next Mobb Deep. I'm looking for that next Jay-Z. I'm looking for that. I'm just looking
Those
for
are the same people that asked me to bring back Yo MTV Raps.
Yeah, like that.
As
like,
if first of all, I don't own it.
right, as if it
Number
was
one,
your
and then
property.
Number two, even if I had an opportunity to do it again, I wouldn't. Because you can't recreate that magic.
It makes sense in this time and space.
Right. It has to make sense.
It's a creative thing, and I think I started to understand that more as I came into this business and being in the studio. That it's like some of the songs that we hear that we love them because something happened in a room one night and everything came together the way it was supposed to come together. You can't just go and just do that again.
No.
You can't just wake up on Thursday and try to make Monday over again.
Yeah,
it don't work like
do
that.
You can't.
It doesn't
You can't
happen
do
like that.
You're lucky sometime if you could get another hit record. But when it was your moment in time, like when Jodeci ruled the R&B era.
That was it.
And then they went away for so long,
Mhm.
and we were so excited that Jodeci was back together, and they gave us a fucking dud.
It's over.
It's over.
Like, don't.
But sometimes artists shoot themselves in the foot because they take too fucking long to recreate that magic.
Yeah.
Like, you should have kept it together when you had this shit together and y'all was rocking and y'all was on a string of shit.
And I know it's a lot of, like, from a fan's perspective,
It's
that's how I
painful.
feel about it. But it's I understand there's a lot of stuff that goes on. It's personal beefs, it's
Oh,
money,
my God.
it's business, it's girls, it's all kind of stuff comes in the way of that magic that you're talking about that you have.
Right.
That you're only gonna have for a limited amount of time.
Limited,
Like, that thing has a
super
shelf
limited
life.
amount of time.
Even if you're a legacy artist, your time at your peak
Yes.
it's whatever it is for your talent, whatever it is that
They
God
can't
is giving
handle
to you.
that for
You can't.
nothing.
No.
They can't handle
Nah.
that.
Nah.
They can't handle that. And Jay-Z winning just makes it worse.
Yeah.
Because not everybody think they're supposed to be winning too.
Have that like that. What he did is unheard of. But even what he's doing right now is still kind of unheard of. But it's like he had a hell of a run,
Yeah.
a really long run where
Well,
it was
he's
like
not the top dog in hip hop right now.
no.
He just made it. He made hip hop accessible for older dudes now.
Yeah,
He opened the door so the Nas can come and make another album,
and keep we're gonna keep doing this thing.
Yeah, and Ludacris can drop another album, but they gotta fall into where they are now, and that's one thing that I'm really really proud to say that I saw Jay do this time around because Magna Carta I didn't like at all.
Yeah, I didn't.
I didn't like Magna because I felt Jay was trying to reach back and grab something.
I mean, he had a Travis Scott record on that album.
Right.
It's hard. Like that's not you though. You trying to reach to get with these kids and get with what's happening. It's like you can't do that.
Right.
That's not for you.
That's not for you.
That's not for you.
No, it's gonna take some young dude to bring back. I was telling people, I said, boom bap will come back, but it won't come back for us. It'll come back with some young dude doing it.
Right.
And that's where it's supposed to be.
And that's
I
how
told them all a long
be,
time
right.
ago. I said lyricism, when they were complaining, it's mumble, mumble, mumble. I would say lyricism is still there. It's still alive.
There's still a lot of great rappers. There's a lot of great MCs.
Fantastic rappers. And look what happened. Here we came with this kid from Compton named Kendrick Lamar.
Smashed.
And smashed everything. So we have to go back and embrace this shit instead of constantly fucking complaining over and over and over.
I never want to be on a stoop drinking a 40 out of plastic bag, talking about a paper bag, talking about back in my day we was whoop 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 whoop. Like I just don't want to be that guy. Like I'm not saying everything is gonna be for me.
You don't want to down it.
I don't want to be
have that nostalgia because you are going to have that nostalgia when
well,
you hit 40.
when I say that, I mean as far as the complaining of it. I want that nostalgia. I want to be able to sit around and talk about those days, of the amazing days when, like I said, riding a school bus and listening to 36 Chambers or listening to whatever. I'm never going to forget that time of my life.
Right.
But I'm not looking for it again.
Right.
I'm not looking
reminiscing over it.
That was an awesome time at that time.
Enjoying
and I'm happy that it was in my life.
And loving it.
And that's just it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to find another. I don't know that there's going to be a new Redman.
I don't think so.
I don't think there's going to. I think that's a one of one.
Somebody different.
Somebody different who's a character who has some other things going on.
Yeah. I think a lot of these dudes is one-on-one. And it's sometimes I look back and go, damn, it's been, like the other day we just celebrated 25 years since Kim dropped Hardcore.
Crazy.
That's 96. Like, wow, Kim been famous for 25 years off of hip-hop.
Mm-hmm.
Through all the trials and tribulations. And, I hear a lot of people go, well, a lot of these little young motherfuckers ain't going to make it for 25 years. You don't know that.
You don't know.
Because they have they have other outlets of being famous.
It's famous, yeah. Like, you don't know how this is going to go. I mean, Drake just did an interview with the Hollywood Reporter talking about he's going to take 6 months or a year to do film and
do you remember when I sat on Combat Jack?
Yeah.
And I said, if Drake takes film and acting seriously, he'll be the best that's ever done it because he's conquered the hip-hop world.
Yeah.
All he has to do is conquer that world that Tupac was supposed to conquer.
Right.
Drake could be the first billionaire rapper we've ever seen. I mean, well, not really because Dre's right there. And
Dre's
quite
there.
Sure Jay-Z is
near getting closer to that thing.
But I mean, as a single artist.
Yeah, single artist, just me
Drake
doing this.
Could be talked about as a GOAT, as one of. There may be some point arguments with another young generation about whether Drake belongs in your top 5 at all time.
For sure. Now,
I saw hints of it on Saturday Night Live. When he hosted Saturday Night Live,
he's
I was
amazing.
like, wait a minute.
It's the Saturday Night Live hosting and when he hosted the ESPYs.
Right.
Smash. Like, personality is there.
Right.
He's in the moment. He's on top of it. He's quick.
Yeah.
He hosted the NBA awards this year, too. He's got jokes. He's clapping back at people.
He can deliver it.
He can deliver the line.
And he already came from being an actor.
So he has that skill set of like
that serious role, and he's gonna push Will Smith right the fuck out the way.
It could be.
It
could be a thing,
bro. Like, I'm telling you, you gotta think about it. The motherfucking rapper that we were talking about was Tupac,
right?
As a movie star.
Mm-hmm.
When we were talking about Tupac being a movie star, Will Smith was not a movie star.
No.
Queen Latifah was not a movie star
at all.
All right, Drake is going to be a movie star.
Yeah, for sure.
He's got the package.
And I think he's done the right thing by not, like, rushing into. We all know he was an actor, but at this point,
He can't get what he wanted to, hip-hop. He focused on hip-hop.
He's literally been rapping almost 10 years. He almost has a decade in this game, which sounds crazy because you might think of Drake as like some young, a newer type of dude.
No, Drake ain't new. Drake damn near 10 in.
Best I ever had was 2008, 2009?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Something like that. So he's almost in 2 years.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Wayne is past 10 years.
Wayne past that point.
Wayne an OG now.
For sure.
Wayne old school.
20 years.
Damn.
Or longer.
Damn.
I mean, in 1997, Wayne had records out.
Yeah, you're right. It was 2017.
It's 2017.
Going into 18.
About to be 18.
Yeah, you're right. And
Pay that man his money.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Pay that man
his damn money.
Put in 20 years of this.
Is it so hard to write a check?
Put in 20 years of this.
Is it that hard? What is it? I wonder what the fuck is wrong with
I can't understand. I don't know, man.
That he don't want to write this man a check.
I don't believe it's because he don't have it. Birdman got the bread. The bread is there. I believe he got the bread.
Maybe he ain't got what Wayne is claiming he owe.
Yeah, maybe he don't have that to just give it off the top. But
right. Maybe as companies overall is
even
worth
with that,
it's
cashed
out.
I would see Birdman on a Forbes list every year for the past 10 years.
Right.
Now, you can't count a man's pockets as far as what his expenses are, whatever he's doing. But what I'm saying is that
fucking around with Tony Braxton,
Yeah. He buying some shit.
He buying some shit.
But
for
you don't got even if Wayne wanted, he upped the number to 50. Even if you didn't give him the whole 50, you don't have $35 million you can just give to Wayne right now if you Birdman.
I would think so.
I would think so too. I just find it hard to believe anything else.
I don't think he want to give it up. I think he like, fuck it, I made you. Who are you without me? I cultivated this. I put these records out. I paid for the studio time. I bought this. I bought that. You don't deserve that much. Maybe if you come down on that number a little bit,
that's just foul.
We could talk about something. But Wayne ain't the only motherfucker that was saying Baby wasn't paying him.
Yeah, no,
Baby don't pay no fucking money.
Yeah, nah. It's a bunch of people, especially producers.
Yeah. Producers get suckered into that shit.
Boy.
But then I can see his point on the other side of that, too. You getting all this work now because the record that you put out with my artist blew up.
It was a huge hit, and now everyone was calling your name.
Now everybody calling your name. So why should I pay you for that? I paid you.
I mean,
I paid you. You're getting paid now. I paid you.
My argument back to that would be, you should have put that in the contract, because I bet the paperwork don't say that.
Yeah, quite sure it don't.
The paperwork said you was going to do X, Y, Z. So you're right. I did get a bunch of money after this Young Money record blew up, after this Nicki Minaj record blew up. You're right, I did get a bunch of money. However, our agreement was you was going to give me X, Y, Z, PDQ.
And you just keeping my shit.
And you just got all my bread tapped up in
because when the shit came down, you just didn't spread out the love. You just said, okay, thanks for the check.
I'm filthy rich, go ahead.
Right.
I got Bugattis and yachts and
I can keep you in court for fucking ever.
Forever and ever. I'm spending your money in court. I'm spending your money with these lawyers fighting you in court about your money.
Wow, that's fucking
it's dirty.
That's dirty as fuck.
It's dirty. Like, for all the money you spending in court, you could have just gave me mine.
Wow.
How much do you think Baby got good lawyers?
Excellent lawyers.
Great lawyers.
He's probably mad because he got to spend money fucking lawyers going
with them. The money you gave Goldenstein, you could have just gave me
Wayne.
You could have just gave me mine. One of the producers.
Yeah, Goldenstein and them getting fucking cashing out.
Cashing out big time.
Crazy, dude. Crazy. It's so that whole shit is crazy. And then fucking Ross is involved in it, and they going back and forth. This shit is just fucking. This shit is just so fucking.
Just do clean business.
Yeah.
I haven't heard nobody from Maybach Music say they ain't got their bread.
I heard complaints that Ross don't have a female.
Yeah. I've heard that.
And then he said some dumb shit about that too, right?
Oh, he said I couldn't have a female artist because I would have to fuck them.
Yeah,
because I would be spending money on them. They would be looking good. I'm gonna get your nails done, your hair. I'm gonna put you in the finest fabrics.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna want.
And then I'm gonna want to fuck you, so I can't have you around.
That's some
what type of business is that?
Nasty shit.
Like you sound like a Weinstein.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's
like
crazy.
Like a Louis C.K. or one of them motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Bitch,
I'll hook you up now. You're looking fine. Like, come wipe this lemon pepper off my beard and open your mouth. Like, what the fuck is going on out here? That's not cool, man.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
That's not cool.
That is not cool at all. Not cool at all. Man, John, thanks for being in the building with me,
Always,
man.
always. I love these
appreciate
conversations.
you, man. I love these fucking conversations that we have, and it's so open and it's so real. And we just get to it, and whatever comes out of it comes out
That's
of it.
just what it is. like Zaytoven and Gucci.
Yeah.
No mixing.
No mix. This is no.
This is the no mix episode.
Look, a no mix episode. To come on, son, man. Y'all keep God
son.
first. Everything else will always fall into place. I'll talk at you, with you, to you, and about you the next time on this next podcast, man. Remember, man, pray for my man, Combat Jack.
Please.
We love you, Jack.
Love
we
you,
love
Reg.
you. Love you so much, my brother. You're going to beat this colon cancer thing. We're with you 110%. Pray for my man. And pray for Meek Mill, too, while you're at it.
How about it?
The shit that's going with Meek is fucked up.
Yeah, we didn't even get to that. But
We didn't even
that's
get to
a whole
it.
nother dirty game.
Yeah, that shit is fucked up. What this fucking judge is doing to Meek is fucked up. And I think they have a march going on in Philly today.
Yeah, there's a rally. Justice. I think it's called Justice for Meek.
Justice for Meek.
Yeah.
And I was one of the first motherfuckers I was like, Meek dumbass need to be locked up. But the circumstances behind it, when a prosecutor and the head of the probation department say these are minor violations.
Don't do it.
He don't need to go to jail for.
Don't do it.
He shouldn't be locked up. Not no 2 to 4 years. That
Especially
shit's
when the
fucked
prosecutor says it, because you know some of these judges will pretty much, if they don't feel like being bothered, they'll take
Right.
the prosecutor's word and
That's
just be
right.
like, that's it. The
And this is
prosecutor
something that
basically
happened
judge.
when he was 19 years old. He's 30 years old now.
It's a long time,
It's a
dog.
long time to be under
That's
the
a long
under
time.
the guise of the fucking probation and
It's a bunch of
department.
bullshit.
And anytime you do any fucking thing, if somebody picked a fight with Meek and he got arrested for something that he wasn't even really involved in, it's a violation of his parole.
Yeah.
How do you live like that?
Yeah, what are you supposed to do? Like, what are you really supposed? And I get it. I agree with you. There's a certain level of personal accountability with some of the things that Meek has
Yeah,
done.
that Willie-in and all
all
that shit.
all the extra stuff. I wouldn't be involved with nothing. If it
Dog,
was
you
me
can't do
personally, I
none of
wouldn't be
that.
involved with any of that
Right,
shit.
the fucking beef with the kids in the St. Louis airport.
Yeah, none
You
of that.
gotta
And,
hold
and
your
all
head
my
and be
mans is
smarter
like,
than
listen, if you around me, this is what it has to be. If it
Right.
can't be there for you, if you feel like you got to pop off, you can't be with me right now.
Right.
However, all that
And I would have
said,
fucking told him, dude, let me tell you something. If I wasn't on probation, I'd beat your little monkey ass.
yeah. Like, you have to come
And
to
you
him
know
like
I'm
that.
on
Like,
probation,
my
so you-
freedom is at risk.
Right, you
like,
poking the fucking bear right now.
even if dude says something out of pocket to you, let it go.
Gotta let it go.
Let it go.
Gotta let it
You
go.
know you know my situation. You can't go beat him up because now it's me. You my man.
Right.
Now, so the headline is Meek Mill's man's
Right.
whoop some kid ass
Oh,
at the airport.
but Meek Mill is involved in it.
Involved with it. Even the running up on Safari in
I told
L.A.
Exactly.
All
I
of
told
that.
my boys a million times. They know. My boys are the first motherfuckers that'll say, Ed, let's go.
Let's get out of here.
Because they know Ed Lover, not y'all
Not
motherfuckers.
y'all. Right.
Ed Lover,
Mhm.
right?
It's going to be on him.
That's right. It's going to be on me. So,
So all of that said, that's all fucked up, but all of that said, that judge is out of pocket.
way out of pocket.
Out of pocket. 2 to 4. When I read that, I was like, I knew they were gonna violate him.
Right.
I thought you'd maybe get 18 months and you gotta do 10 or
Right.
9, good behavior, whatever the case. When I seen 2 to 4, I said 2 to 4.
But once the prosecutor, and I know I closed the show out, but we still talking. Once the prosecutor says, I recommend no jail time, and the supervisor of the probation department says no jail time,
What are we talking about?
it should have been no
No
fucking
jail time.
None whatsoever.
The judge talking about she wanna shout out. She want Meek to redo a Boys II Men song and give her a shout out
With
in the
Nicki
song.
Minaj. Huh?
What are you talking about?
That's so inappropriate.
You a judge, like.
So I didn't do that, so now you're going to ram
So
me
now,
with
so now,
2
so
to
now I
4?
got to do years in prison because
Right.
I didn't redo.
And he got to sit there until his appeal come up. And may not win the appeal.
Come on, man.
Free Meek Mill, man.
Please, man.
For real. And I'm not one of them people that walk around with that free any motherfucker.
Free any and everybody
No,
who's in
don't free
prison.
my
Nah,
man Black. Your man Black shot and killed 3
yeah,
people.
some people need to be
Fuck
in prison.
Black.
Yeah.
Black need to be in
Yeah,
prison.
yeah.
But free Meek for real. Because
Yeah.
Meek right now does not deserve to be in prison for some minor parole violations that he didn't even get prosecuted for. They didn't even find enough charges to bring him up on. Everything got dismissed. Why is he sitting in jail?
For what?
Doesn't make sense.
Come on,
That's
man.
bullshit.
Come
And
on.
Meek needs to be out. Free Meek Mill, man. Ed Lover, come on, son. Now get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. We gone. This Ed Lover podcast is being done in conjunction with Cigars International. Make sure you check out cigarsinternational.com for all your cigar needs.
This episode of Come On Son, the podcast, is produced and engineered by co-executive producers Kimana Paulus and Krista Hayes. Recorded at Mean Street Studios in downtown Atlanta, Georgia. This is an official Loudspeakers Network podcast. Network podcast. Network podcast. Network podcast. Network podcast. Network podcast. Network podcast.